This is your degenerate power hour, your late night golden shower. Too ill to be sick, so thick you can't split. That carnival spin with the rictus grin. I'm Joel, he's BMO, and this is Vagrants and Vandals Radio.
Good shit.
Good to be back here in the honey hole. And today, we got a loaded show, but we're going to kick things off with a new segment that we're calling Corrections and Quibbles. Quibbles and Corrections. Because on our last podcast, you guys might remember, there was a lively discussion about bounties on the heads of pythons in Florida. And BMO claimed that the state of Florida was paying out $5,000 a pop, and it had me thinking...
What I was led to believe.
Had me thinking, let's go kill some snakes. Now, furthermore, what muddied the waters is you had mentioned an actor from The Office who I was led to believe, and perhaps inadvertently led to believe, that he had quit his profession as an actor to become one of these bounty hunters.
That should have been the first tip-off for you. This guy's like in lots of movies. $1 million movies.
Sometimes people go crazy, and they're like, I'm done with Hollywood. I'm going to kill snakes.
I'm going to kill snakes.
Turns out that was just a show that he was an actor
I'm
on.
pretty sure I said it was on Peacock, but I don't think I gave it the impression it was a reality TV show.
Well, you were blending reality with the show, and I'm hearing...
Man, I was blending fiction with fiction, apparently, for what you're saying off camera.
So, well, here's the quibble I have, because I was interested enough. I was gearing up. I looked some info up. I specifically Googled, does the state of Florida pay for pythons? And yes, they do. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, the FWC, not a wrestling organization, it does pay for the removal of Burmese pythons. But here's the thing. It sounds like you have to be hired as a python removal agent. They're paying between $13 and $18 an hour for up to 10 hours a day while searching for pythons on designated lands. So already it's like the pool of people allowed to do this is getting smaller and smaller. You can receive an incentive of $50 for each python up to 4 feet long, plus $25 for each additional foot.
That's a big snake. 4 foot?
A python? I mean, for just $50. And then if it's larger, $25 per additional foot. They also receive $200 for each active nest that is verified by the FWC. Now, there's a little more info here. Freelancers. So this would be us. Freelancers paid $50 for each python up to 4 feet long. Okay, so this is the same thing.
Must have got my my decimal point wrong in that equation.
Now, there is apparently a Python challenge held annually. The FWC's annual Python Challenge pays participants prizes for removing invasive Burmese pythons from the Everglades ecosystem. The grand prize is $10,000 for the participant who removes the most pythons by a certain date. Other prizes include $7,500 for the second most pythons, $2,500 for novices, and $1,000 for the longest python. So, I mean, if you were a python hunter, this annual competition, you could clean up if you were particularly skilled. There's no bag limit. The FWC does not offer compensation for pythons except to contracted members of the Patrick program and winners during the Florida Python Challenge. So not as just open to the public and as willy-nilly as us wannabe python slashers had perhaps imagined, but people are doing it. And
I assume you could eat python?
I don't see why not.
So I wonder if you get to keep what you kill.
Once you prove you show their carcass.
Right, like, I'm going to need those back.
You want to eat that? Because I
got starving kids at home in the trailer.
I mean, hey, that might be the type of people desperate enough for that. Because we were talking before we started, that's relatively dangerous work for what you're being paid.
Oh, yeah.
$50 for a 4 foot. So what if they're under 4 foot? You're just like, not worth my time. Leave it.
Yeah, wait for it to
if
come
not going to
back.
pay me for it,
I'll take that bitch home, put it in a tank.
let it become
grow.
a monster.
Got this
and
15
slaughtered
foot
in
of
captivity. They're like, sir, this looks like it's been eating store-bought chicken.
I don't know why.
That's weird.
Must have been on that dumpster by that restaurant. I don't know.
Hey, because if I'm one of these guys, I'm running an operation in my house where I'm breeding these things, then releasing them when they big old boys
into my backyard,
killing them.
Doop, 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 doop. Unlimited money glitch right there.
Speaking of glitch, we're going to talk about that a little later.
Spooky shit.
It's one of the things we're going to talk about. Are we living in a simulation? And if we are, how do we get out?
I don't know if you can. Any more than the Sims in their simulation can.
Well, we're gonna see what some scientists think.
Because if I wake up one day and there's some Sim in my house just chilling, he's like, I've escaped my world. I'm like, well, you're not even mine, motherfucker.
So I'm gonna do a callback to more than a year ago. What do you think Durf was?
Yeah.
Bum.
You think Durf was a Sim that escaped the Sims game?
The way you just described seemed like he was a Sim in Jason's life.
He's an NPC, bro, not a playable character. He was just always there to give you side quests.
Durf. All right, so just before we started, BMO says to me, I have a confession. And I say, what is it? He goes, I'll let you know in the podcast. So we're going to get to that on the other side of a very important sponsor placement. Last episode, we told you, landed our first sponsor, Big Bruce's Burger Spot right here in Monroe, Telegraph and Stony Creek.
That's right.
They've put together an ad for us. We're going to listen to that. On the other side of it, we're going to hear whatever this confession is from BMO.
Hey, Burger Bandits. It's time to satisfy your cravings at Big Bruce's Burger Spot. Sink your teeth into our signature mouth-watering barbecue bacon burger for just $5.99. And for our veggie friends, try our new spicy black bean burger with a zesty Southwest sauce that slaps. Got a sweet tooth? Slurp down our handcrafted moose knuckle milkshake, just $3.99 for a limited time. Located at Telegraph and Stony Creek in Monroe, Big Bruce's Burger Spot. Put my meat in your mouth.
All right, there we go. So get on out, support our sponsor, Big Bruce's Burger Spot. Have you been back to Big Bruce's?
I stopped in just to sign some paperwork for our sponsorship, but haven't had a chance to eat there. He's always trying to force food in me. I'm trying to lose weight again, so I don't need to be eating these giant-ass burgers at low cost. It's not good for me.
I'll stop by, Brucey boy. Don't you worry. I'm not passing up free food. I've seen some of the menu, and got my eyes on that. What is it? They've got the Munster cheese with the mushrooms on top of the burger.
Oh, he's got a lot of different burgers out there.
That looks good.
He was telling me that they're working on getting like a bison burger.
Ooh.
They're dealing with some distributor out in Montana, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I was out with some friends yesterday, and we got to talking about like different meats we've eaten. Would you be a cannibal if you had to? Anyways,
if I got to, I got to.
Yeah, that was the consensus. But I would love to try. I don't know what it is. I'm in a stage of my life where I'm like, I've eaten enough cow, chicken. What else do we eat in this country? Cow, chicken, and pig. Yeah. I want to try some more exotic animals. I'd munch one of those pythons.
I mean, I've had snake, but like in jerky form.
Yeah.
I've had alligator in jerky form and in smoked form. I would like to try elk. I've had boar before. Very fucking gamey. Very gamey meat.
So you've chomped a fair amount of animals.
Yeah, well, there was a restaurant in Westland, if you recall, called the Beaver Creek Inn, I believe. And they had a roadkill platter.
Huh.
And it had quail on it, wild boar, venison, and then, there might have, maybe it was like ostrich meat. It was something.
Okay,
I don't really see those being roadkill. I feel like you hit an ostrich, your car's pretty fucked up too.
Yeah, well, they're not native to our country.
But elk and moose are on the list of ones that I really want to try.
I want to try a shark. I want to teach. Give them a taste of their own medicine.
You like tuna?
Take a big old. I
That's
do.
a fucked up reason
I
want
like tuna. Yeah,
yeah, like talking about like ahi tuna, not like out of a canned tuna.
That's the kind of tuna I'm talking about. That happy fish on the side.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like ahi tuna. It's like big, thick steaks of tuna. It's like real bright red. They pan sear it. Oh man, it's so fucking good.
They've been spending time with Michael Jackson with a name like that. Bring that on over
It's
here.
a delicacy, motherfucker.
No,
You're talking shark fin soup.
Recently,
It's illegal.
I saw a reel. It was Facebook or Instagram. A dude caught a shark, not like a huge shark, but he was, the whole video was him cleaning it.
Yeah.
Which I think those butcher videos are pretty cool.
Yeah,
How,
they're
like
neat.
properly clean it. But the meat, white meat, I mean, it looks clean.
Yeah.
It looks delicious. I was like, yeah. He made a gumbo. It's like, yeah, I'll eat some of that shit.
What you can't eat is bear.
No? Why can't you eat bear?
They're so parasitic. You haven't seen those videos of bears walking, and they've got like a 3-meter thing of tapeworms hanging out their ass.
I've never seen that.
Looks like giant spaghetti out of their ass, bro. It's so gross. And yeah, they said that because of what they eat, that their meat is just littered with parasites. You don't want to eat that meat.
All right. That doesn't seem like easily obtainable meat anyways.
No, but if you're Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin and the Edge and they killed that bear, you know they ate that motherfucking meat.
sure.
In fact, they show him eating the meat. He came home, he had trail of tapeworms out his asshole. I guess if you're stranded in the Arctic or where they were, Alaska, tapeworms are the least of your concerns.
Can you imagine like you're taking a dump and the tapeworm starts coming out your ass and you're just pulling and pulling
Yeah,
and pulling.
it
It would take forever.
what you do is you
don't
get
wanna break it
a
off.
chopstick.
Yeah,
and
roll
you
it.
roll them
Yeah.
out, dude. Like Vince Vaughn and The Cell with Vincent D'Onofrio.
Because that boy's not helping you. They're trying. It's warm in there. They got nutrients. They're trying to stay in.
they want in, and they're laying eggs on top of that. Like
Yeah.
they're spreading.
Ooh, that's
Ew.
rough. All right. Well, we promised it. So, Bima, what is this confession you want to hit the listeners of Vagrants and Vandals with?
I'm ashamed to say on the air
That's pretty bad for you. You're
that
ashamed of something?
I've cheated.
What?
Not on my wife.
Okay.
Not on my wife. As you all recall, we were playing a game last week with hockey trivia. And me being the shiesty fuck that I am, I was taking advantage of.
When were we playing a game of hockey trivia?
You were reading off to me and Andrew.
Well, that was a couple episodes ago. It wasn't. Yeah.
Wasn't that last episode?
No. No, man. You got.
Are you sure?
You got to cut back. Last episode was just me and you.
Okay. Well, regardless, 2 episodes ago. So I could see the secondary page because you had it flipped. Mm-hmm. So I just memorized some of them. Like me pulling Al McGinnis out of my ass was because I remembered it on the page.
Why wouldn't you just in the spirit of having fun, not have looked?
Because I was having fun. And the look on your face when I said Al McGinnis, you were literally blown away like, I can't believe you got that. I'm like, yeah, Dad, you're right. Neither could Andrew because it was unbelievable.
So why are you confessing this?
I just thought it was funny. I told Andrew, I think probably last week. I'm like, oh, yeah, remember that game we were playing? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I cheated. He's like, I wondered how you got that. Felt bad. I don't want to lie to my my podcast comrade. So
coming clean on Vagrants.
had to come clean on that one.
I thought it was going to be something much more, a little more serious, anyways.
I figured you would. That's why I didn't tell you.
All right, let's see what else we've got.
I've
up
cheated. Not on my wife.
All right, here's something. Not exactly a confession, but I guess something along those lines. We all have, at least we all dream in some capacity. A lot of people don't remember their dreams. I remember my dreams pretty frequently, and quite often they're bizarre.
I remember mine when I don't drink.
You don't remember anything when you were drinking?
If I drink over 7 beers, which is pretty much every night I drink. No, I don't have much dreams.
All right. Well, I'm talking dreams where, I think it's common to have weird dreams where it's like, wow, I was riding a dinosaur in that dream. That was interesting. But I'm talking like dreams that something happens in them and you're kind of uncomfortable to even talk about them.
I get it.
For instance.
Who'd you rape in this dream?
No one was raped. For instance, years ago when Ryan and I were doing the Mud Puppets podcast, he told a dream where he was once making love to former NBA star Patrick Ewing.
What the fuck?
And that Patrick Ewing had a giant, cartoonishly floppy vagina. So
that's an odd dream to have.
Figure out that dream.
So wait, it was like in his mind, it was like who stole the Roger Rabbit movie? He was real, but he was like Space Jam.
Well, I just meant I didn't mean an actual cartoon. Just that
okay,
he had
I misunderstood.
Comically oversized.
He was having sex
genitals.
with a cartoon Ewing. What the fuck?
It's not enough that it was Patrick Ewing and that he had a giant vagina. It has to also be a cartoon.
What's wrong with that guy?
So I'm talking dreams in that vein where you're like, I don't know if I even want to it's like, I don't know what that was about. I don't know why I would have had such
That
a
was
dream.
just for you in your subconscious, all right?
So recently I had a dream the other day, and I woke up from it, and I was like, what? Why would I dream that? Guy I know, nice guy, known him for a number of years. In the dream, we're at some like big get together.
Can't say who it was.
You don't know him. I'd rather no. I don't.
Even better.
I don't want to embarrass him because
how would it embarrass
he
him?
didn't do anything.
Right.
He was in my dream. We're at like some big get together. We're outdoors, and he's on like one of those like reclining lawn chairs, like a day at the beach, and he's trying to get my attention. And it's clear something's wrong, and I get the impression like he's embarrassed about something and he needs my help. I'm like, what's going on, dude? And I notice there's what appears to be a dead rooster on his lap, and he's gesturing toward it. And I'm like, what's the problem?
What I picture him doing is like you out of that one Mud Peppers video. It was like what was it? But you were like just doing this like pointing down at your crotch.
Oh yeah, the one with the like the was it something boner product?
Yeah, did it make like comical sounds?
Yeah. I forget what we called that. I can see it. I can see the device we made. I'll remember it eventually. But yeah. So he's kind of just gesturing, and I don't remember he actually ever spoken like complete sentences to tell me what was wrong. But like I got the gist.
See, that's weird. I don't think I ever, even when I do remember my dreams, I don't remember a lot of the speech. Just like the important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's not a lot of talking going on in dreams.
I definitely hear people talk in dreams. I also read in my dreams.
I don't think that's possible.
No, I've done it. But here's the thing. It's gobbledygook. You can read it, but the sentences don't make sense.
Okay. Because remember,
but it's words.
Batman animated series taught us that.
Yeah, they're supposedly you can't read in your dreams. I'm like, well, I
use your dream with your left side and right controls the.
I'm not entirely sure, but I have read in my dreams, but it's not. It's like word salad.
Right.
So I get the gist that he's concerned that people are going to think he was banging the chicken. And I'm kind of like, well, were you?
No, were you doing
And
that?
he's like, no, I don't know what happened. So I was like, well, get rid of the rooster. So he's still sitting in the lawn chair, and he removes the rooster, and it's clear he's had like a massive wet dream because his shorts, he had like these gray shorts on, soaked.
Now, I have to
with
ask,
jizz.
when you woke up, had you had the wet dream?
No.
Because I would assume that would be
Nope.
the...
In fact, I may have even checked because I was like, well, that was weird. Pat myself down.
Still dry.
And before it went any further, I woke up and I was just like, what was that?
When's the last time you had a wet dream?
I only had one once in my life.
I think me too.
I was probably like 15, 16, 17 maybe.
I want to say I was 18. But I remember waking up and being like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm glad that never happened for you. Because first of all, you don't even get to enjoy it.
But that's the thing, though. I feel like I do remember in my dream being like,
Oh,
oh,
God,
that was a hell of a dream.
I wish you guys could have seen his face.
Well, the sooner you go on getting video on this motherfucker, the funnier it'll be.
I'll be seeing that when I'm trying to fall asleep. Brandon's face looked like he was having a heart attack and a stroke at the same time. Yeah, that only happened once to me, and it was weird because I was well into my teenage years when it happened, and I'd hear my friends talk about it. Never happened to me. Then one morning, I was already up for the day, got ready and everything, and I got into this routine in high school where I'd get ready, and then I'd sit down in the morning and like watch some music videos before I had to go to school. And I remember the last thing was like a Britney Spears video. So who knows?
Hey.
Maybe I was even like, playing some pocket pool. I doze off, and it could have only been a couple of minutes. And I wake up.
Long enough to blow.
Wake up, I'm like, why am I wet? And I was like, oh my God. Never happened to me before. So of course I go in the bathroom, I'm trying to hide it from everybody, rinsing them off like I got to change my underwear.
Oh, dude, I did some weird shit when I was masturbating as a kid. Like, I was almost like ashamed of it.
Sure.
Because I remember I would like jerk off like right to the point where I'm about to come, but then it was too late, and I'd put my underwear over my fucking dick, dude, and blow my load through the fucking underwear, and it'd be so weird because it'd be like what you would assume it would like.
Yeah.
And just get it bigger and bigger. And then you panic. You ruin your underwear. So then, in a desperate attempt, I'd wipe it all off.
Yeah.
I don't want to just put these underwear in the my mom's going to know. So I take the hair dryer. I put the spot where I done it, and I'd hair dry that shit till it's dry. And dude, the smell of fast drying cum is nothing that anyone should probably ever have to endure.
You know what I used to do because I was afraid of the same thing. I was like, "Oh, mom's gonna know something," and that's the thing. They knew anyways.
Right,
We
my
were
mom
just
found, my
too
mom found my
stupid
sock.
She
She never directly told me, but there was a Mad TV skit where they referenced a Britney sock, and she just thought that was so funny. This is after she'd already found mine.
Yeah.
I was at my dad's actually, and she's like, "Yeah, I cleaned out your desk. It got filthy." I'm like, because the sock was probably standing on itself, dude. It was just like it was.
Hello,
Dude, that thing was a lot of Morrisons went to die there.
So what did she say?
Didn't say anything. Never brought
she
it up,
just mentioned,
but it
like,
was
clean-
gone. And there's no way she thought I was blowing my nose in that fucking thing.
Yeah, it's like that time my mom found Jason's porno bag and said nothing. Jason comes into our bedroom, and he just goes, "Joel, it's like, you know that magazine I had?" He had it like...
Please tell me you have it.
He had it underneath one of the drawers, because those drawers, you had to pull them all the way out and remove them.
Right.
But he had it in there, and he had it like taped down so that...
Oh, like underneath the main
Yeah.
drawer cover? That's smart. That's
So
smart.
he's like, "Did you move it?" I go, "No, why would I move it?" He's like, you telling the truth?" I'm like, "Yeah, why would I move it?" He goes, "It's gone."
Fuck.
And I go, "Mom must have found it." He goes, "She hasn't said anything." It was like psychological warfare. She never mentioned it. Years later, like well into her adulthood, we brought it up and we laughed about it. She goes, "Yeah, I found it." She's like, "I didn't want that filth in my house. I threw it away." And we were like, "Why didn't you ever say anything?"
Well, I mean, it's a natural part of life. What are you going to watch? Your phone's about to fall. I used to hide mine in my. What I do is we'd steal magazines
Sure.
and we'd rip the pages out and I'd put them in my my art folder, like in between the pages of paper. Like, and it was a big art thing, so I had a bunch of porno. always bring my art folder to the bathroom with me, like drawing a toilet. What can I say?
I used to take, well, it would have been WWF at the time, WWF magazines, because they have some of the women in
The
sexy
Sable
outfits.
one?
Sable,
Oh.
Sunny, and Marlena at the time. Yeah.
So weird because I look back at Sable and I'm like, ugh, I don't even think she's attractive. Huge fake tits. She's kind of old.
Well, she wasn't old at the time.
For us, she was.
Well, she was in her 30s, I
Like,
imagine.
yeah, just don't do it for me. Now, I'd say who is kind of hot in a weird way is that Leah Ripley.
Oh, yeah. I like me some Rhea
Like,
Ripley.
I feel like Family Guy spoofed that when Lois went to prison. She come back, she's all jacked. She kind of looks like her, and she's like, she's like, "How was it?" Peter's like, "It was kind of nice being held against the wall." I don't think I ever want to do that again, though. But yeah, that chick is good looking, but yeah, that's too burly for me, bro.
So you can't recall any uncomfortable dreams? Well, you were telling me about one.
Yeah, that one recently.
Because
I was telling him that and like I said, I don't dream a whole lot. I know I do. I know I dream every night because I talk in my sleep. Mm-hmm. April's like constantly like, "Who are you fighting in your sleep?" I'm battling my demons at night, bro.
I've been wanting to put like a camera on myself when I sleep.
Well, Andrew slept here, and he's like, "Jesus Christ, man!" He's like, "You're like screaming at the top of your lungs in the middle of the night, scared the shit out of me." I'm like, hey, but I had a dream that I found bourbon at my mother-in-law's house, which is the apartment right next door, a different building, but right next door, but it was empty. It wasn't her apartment. It was like they had moved.
Yeah.
And I walked in there and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm waiting for my friend." And I'm like, "Well, who is your friend? Like, what are you talking about?" So I go outside. There's a little dude standing there with a mustache, I remember. And
like a midget?
No, he was just a smaller guy,
Just a
like
Napoleon
size.
guy.
And there's a real big dude, like 6'3", 300 pounds.
Okay.
And Bourbon said, "That's my friend." And the guy's like, "I'm just here to meet my friend." He looked me in my eyes. He said, "It's good you showed up because it was gonna go long." And then I woke up, bro, and it disturbed me.
That's a weird dream.
I haven't forgot it. I'm like, that was a weird one. And I still remember the guy's face. I'm like waiting to see him in real life.
Good thing you showed up. It was gonna go long.
Like, they just flat out admit you're here to rape my child.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's an uncomfortable dream.
Yeah, it was odd. So I don't let my kid go anywhere with anybody.
Well, maybe those weird dreams are part of the simulation. So I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with the theory that perhaps our reality, not unlike the Matrix movies, is a simulation.
Give them an extended version, and I gotta grab a beer.
All right. As BMO goes, I'll tee us up here. So there's a lot of articles out there, of course, speculating on this. Is our reality a simulation? If it was, what kind of supercomputers would that require to turn into a reality? If it were, how would we even know that? But for today's premise, we're going to accept that this is a simulation. And I found an interesting article dealing with that. It says, the title is, hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. Here we go. This is from March 24th of 2023. This is from Popular Mechanics. Scientist reveals how to escape our simulation.
They gave us instructions on how to do it?
Apparently. Hack your way out of the wrong reality. By some dude named Darren Orff.
I would think that just realizing... Okay, so like when you're in a dream. Most of the time you realize you're in a dream, the dream ends.
Lucid dreaming.
So I feel like this is a simulation. Every time you realize it, they would just... Like, you know what I mean? By the next morning, that would have been wiped from your...
Yeah, kind of like Dark City.
I've never seen that.
Oh, you got to see it.
I know,
like
it's on Tubi.
Yeah.
The guy on the clock thing.
Dark City's good,
Yeah, I'll watch it this week.
So here's the quick hits from this article, then I'll get into it. For 2 decades, scientists have seriously considered whether we're living in a simulated universe. A computer scientist at the University of Louisville explores ways that humans could try to hack our way out of this reality and enter the baseline reality.
That concerns me, though, because what if we're doing this to ourselves because what we live in is so bad? Like, why do we play video games? To escape reality?
Yeah.
So if this is a simulation that we're escaping something, like some boredom, mundane life, like, that's scary to me.
Well, and so that question there, like the baseline reality, is an unsettling one because I've had dreams where I fell asleep in the dream.
Yeah, that's like Inception.
That's trippy.
A dream within a dream.
You think, oh, I'm awake, and then you wake up again. You're like, holy shit!
I don't know if that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, a few times in my life it's happened, and it's unsettling.
I've had bits of lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
Where I'm in control. I can breathe underwater.
Awesome.
When the minute you realize you can breathe underwater in a dream, then your brain starts short circuiting. It's like, oh, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. Get out. But
the last bullet point here. So far, techniques ranging from all the world's religions, along with the immense complexity of the Large Hadron Collider, seem to have no effect on our theoretically simulated reality. So let's dig in. The red pill or the blue pill? The famous question that frames the entirety of The Matrix. In the 1999 film, a surprisingly resolute Neo takes the red pill and decides to, quote, see how far down the rabbit hole goes.
Ooh.
The moment is one of the most iconic scenes in sci-fi history, but it also explores a relevant philosophical question. If reality is a simulation, can humans decide to leave it? University of Louisville computer scientist Roman Yampolsky, let's go with that, explores this very question in a detailed post outlining how to possibly hack our way out of our simulated existence. The idea that humans possibly live in a simulation is a surprisingly old one. French philosopher René Descartes tossed around the idea back in the 17th century.
What? How is that possible?
He was famous. Well, philosophers, they sat around pontificating the nature of our reality. René Descartes had a famous saying in French that goes "Je pense donc je suis," which translates to "I think, therefore I am." French philosopher René Descartes tossed around the idea back in the 17th century, but the idea really captured the science community when Oxford University philosopher Nick Bostrom wrote an influential article on the possibility of a simulated reality back in 2003. Bostrom put the odds of us living inside some super advanced alien computer at about 20%. Yampolsky continues this tradition of exploring the boundaries of a possible simulation and specifically exploring ways to escape it. Yampolsky pulls examples from real-world examples of hacks, exploits found in video games, as well as more philosophical meanderings about attempting to communicate with our simulator overlords with an avatar. Yampolsky also includes a compendium of sorts of escape plans theorized by other thinkers, which include, quote, generating an incalculable paradox, end quote, or stressing the simulation's computational capacity, such as requiring millions of people to meditate at the same time and then suddenly becoming very active. The article admits that there are some compelling bits of evidence that are potentially damaging to the idea of escaping the simulation, or if there's a simulation at all. For example, knowledge of the simulation itself doesn't seem to impact its existence, nor do religions, which all appeal to some outside simulator, have no measurable effect or intervention. Previous researchers have proposed this very idea. Also, running incredibly complex machines that deliver astounding results, such as the Large Hadron Collider, appear to have no effect on any sort of simulation.
Well, that we know of.
Of course, there's the question of why would humans want to leave the simulation? After all, Neo's experience exiting the Matrix wasn't exactly pleasant. Yampolsky argues that access to the baseline reality could increase our computational ability and give us access to, quote, real knowledge rather than the simulated physics of our known universe. The consequences of such an escape plan is also unknown. Yampolsky admits that such investigations come with existential risks, and even posits the possibility that simulators have rebooted the simulation with improved security features, effectively wiping our collective memory. It's likely impossible that we'll discover with 100% certainty whether we live in a simulation. For now, we have to stick with the blue pill.
It's interesting shit.
Yeah. I mean, I was hoping for a little more direction on how to escape the simulation. I was hoping walk down to Telegraph and Stony Creek, dive in the water, swim 50 yards, enter a cave, follow the light of the cave. But no.
Well, like I was pointing out when I was telling you earlier about that Mandela Effect movie, that is essentially what that guy does. Mm-hmm. He uses a supercomputer to make it. So the premise in the movie was that if this was a simulation, if something wasn't being viewed, like in a video game, it shows you the outside of the building, but there's nothing inside. It doesn't need to generate that.
Sure.
So what he'd made it do was generate everything at once, collectively shutting down the machine or shutting down the simulation. But once that happens, simulation just starts right back up again. I mean, I'm talking about at the birth of the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Like the 14 billion years is going to replay out the same way it did.
Yeah.
All the way to the point to where he lost his daughter in the beginning of the movie, and in which case she goes to leave, and there must be some like little remnants of that, because he's like, hey, why don't you leave? She was carrying around a Curious George doll. He's like, hey, and that's why she went into the water. She drowned. He's like, don't go in the water. The fucking damn thing ends up in the water, gets carried away. She goes out after it gets killed. Mm-hmm. So he's like, hey, leave your doll. Of course, she doesn't get killed. And everything's perfect. Simulation goes on, though. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? Like, they corrected that problem. How many times before that happened? I mean, who knows?
Right.
How do we know we haven't done that?
Right. I mean, ultimately, we don't.
Right.
I mean,
and you never will.
We're not the masters of our own creation.
If the only way out, I would think the only truly way to get out would be to die within the game, which would be our simulation.
Possibly.
And then you come out and you're like...
I've a number of months ago we were talking about this, and I was talking about this with a coworker, and that was sort of the idea I put forth. I'm like, well, what if, like, when we pass away, we just find ourselves in essentially some like rebooting screen?
It's a game chair. You're just like, whoa.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, and then you got a screen in front of you that says "Choose your next adventure." And
well, Rick and Morty poke fun at that too. Morty's a little guy, right? Mm-hmm. He puts on the headset, and boom, he's a little boy who wakes up in bed. Oh, I had a bad dream. I was with this old man. Can't remember anything. Lives his 50 years. Dies. And it was only like 20 minutes of the game that he was actually playing. Yeah. He comes out, he's freaking out. And Rick's like, hey, he's like, 58, that's not bad. He's like, you had cancer, you beat cancer, and you went back to selling carpet? Well done. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's trippy when you start to think about all of those, you know, those possibilities.
I feel like that's what separates us from the animals for real. Thinking about possibilities and probability. I mean, that and the reading and writing and whatnot, but that's all.
Opposable thumbs.
But like
the cerebral cortex.
You think these animals aren't handing down stories to generationally, like we, not like we are. We read and write, but without that, they have their own language systems.
Sure.
So I have to assume they're like, hey, stay away from these white devils above the water, all right? They're trouble.
Yeah, I think animals are not given enough credit, even insects, by humans. You look at some
Plants
plants
are not given enough credit.
You look at like even something as simple as an ant. The colonies they build, the structured society they have is pretty amazing.
Quantumania, Paul Rudd
No.
and Evangeline. God, she's fucking fine. Sorry if I spit on you there. She's actually not aging very well, but in the movie they talk about how smart ants are.
Yeah, who'd you say this was, the actress?
Evangeline Lilly.
Oh, yeah,
playing
from
Lost.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fine as hell, Lost.
Freckles.
Freckles, come
right.
on now. I always forget that. Now this is a generational thing, I think, because for me, I watched Party of Five, but it never done. I always, when I think of that actor,
Matthew Shepard.
Yeah, I'm thinking of.
He
Jack.
wasn't the one that called her Freckles, though. That was
No,
Sawyer.
that's Sawyer. Yeah,
Oh,
but I'm
okay.
just saying.
Yeah.
I happened to see a Party of Five thing, and he has like really long hair.
Yeah, he had two different parts of his
They're
career.
like, we want to put you in this show, but you got to shave that signature hair off, man. Look, you're gonna look good, bald. Don't worry.
What's the pay?
Him and John Locke. Can't remember what that guy's name is in real life, but I rewatched Lost.
Yeah, one of those character actors.
God, he's so good.
Yeah.
He's great in that. That whole show is amazing.
I mean, I felt it fell apart at the end.
Oh, I like the Titanic
Flash
ending.
forwards and
Yeah, I like the Titanic ending. When they died, they all went back to the island, essentially.
yeah, I don't know.
A lot of multiversal shit going on there.
I felt like I felt the ending was a bit of a cop out by the writers because they never really knew where it was going.
And they didn't explore Dharma enough. As much as they had that, there was so much more there. Like, they showed sharks with Dharma testing on them. They never showed anything more of that.
And I think that was part of it, though. They needed to build this mythos. You need to provide some backstory to really suck people in. Because, yeah, okay, it's captivating. People on an island. Why? And there's these structures on this island.
The smoke monster.
So, yeah, okay, there was this company, and they were doing experiments. But I don't think they ever had a long-term plan of where any of it was going.
No, going season by season.
Yeah.
Because they didn't plan on them being picked up for a second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever it went on to.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a pretty breakneck pace to the writing of a network. Once a show becomes a hit, it's like, great, we're all rich. We got a lot of work to do.
Get the pens to paper, people. Have you seen? I'm sure you've seen Old M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
I think
enjoyed
it's good. I think it's really good. But I found one problem with it, though. I mean, I'm sure there's a multitude of problems with that movie, but timeline-wise, beginning of the movie, you see the black dude, mid-sized sedan. Mm-hmm. He's on the beach with that chick. That motherfucker was on that beach for at least 2 days and didn't age at all. So unless he showed up as a child, and that chick was a child, and then they grew to that age, because that's the way that beach works. Like, the kids were there for like 5 hours, and the little chick already had tits. You know what I mean? Like, she was 16 at that point.
There's a sentence.
So, well, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
like-
She goes from being like
Yeah.
11 to 17 to like 45.
Yeah. And there's that scene like where the kids walk up to like, Mom, I'm scared.
Well, the one little boy, he's like 6, bangs the other 6-year-old. I mean, they're older because of the beach.
Right.
But his dad's like, that's how babies are made. He's like, I knew that, but I thought it took 10 times. Like, he's still a 6-year-old, even though he
Mentally,
looks like an
yes.
11-year-old.
So we should probably premise this by saying the point of the movie is that you go to this beach and there's some mysterious properties there that rapidly age people. So these families show up with their kids, and their kids are physically maturing,
Right.
but not mentally.
Well,
so
they were kind of mentally maturing. She described it as, she said, before I got here, I only had 4 colors in my head, and I assume that represents like anger, sadness, happiness, and whatever. But as you get older, you have more complex emotions.
Yeah.
The sexuality of this and that. So I think that's what she was trying to convey. But she was a child; she couldn't convey it.
right.
To mid-sized sedan, who was a grown man, looking at this 16-year-old like, "Hey," even though she knows she's 11 mentally. He don't give a fuck.
Well, part of it that they're trapped there.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can't get off. There's some presence, like if you go back the way you came, it's like an overwhelming pressure in your brain.
Yeah, that's right. So people start to revert to that lizard brain.
But the son, the boy and the girl, they end up getting out.
Yeah, it was a number of years ago when I saw it.
They swim through the coral, and that
That's
somehow
right.
alleviates the effects. But no, they're old though.
It's almost like a portal or something. Yeah.
Like they're like, how did your aunt take it when you called? He's like, as good as you can take when your 50-year-old 6-year-old nephew calls you and tells you like.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool premise. It was executed well enough.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Some of Shyamalan's movies have gone off the rails. I mean, there was a few there. Some of his after he had his initial success, like a lot of people complained about The Village. I like The Village, but like Lady in the Water.
Oh yeah, that one's horrible.
Yeah,
That's bad.
It was almost like he was just like spitting in the face of the audience at the time. Signs is good.
That's a classic.
Unbreakable.
That whole trilogy I thought was done pretty well.
But then he definitely had a few where it was like, oh.
I'm trying to think of ones that I've seen that I just... Oh, now I haven't seen Trap yet.
Neither have I. Wanted to see that.
I do want to see that.
That looked good.
I heard it's all right. I hate to take anything I hear about movies. I take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, yes.
Because I heard Quantum Mania was fucking horrible. I watched it anyways, and I was like, this isn't bad.
Yeah, because you never know, like, who's the source of these reviews. Is it like super nerds online?
Right.
Like, they didn't respect the source material.
What Deadpool and Wolverine did, my God, they covered every comic book there was for that movie. It seemed like
I've heard nothing but good reviews about that.
I obviously you noticed I showed you, but tell the listeners, I went out and purchased a set of Wolverine claws. They're metal and they're badass.
I show up here, we walk into Da Honey, how BMO's got Wolverine claws. He goes, and I kind of touch him just to test how strong the metal is. He goes, oh yeah, I can put those through you. And he takes one, he goes, here, try it.
Let's fucking
So
go.
I put it on my face. It's pretty cool shit.
Yeah, it feels good, don't it?
Oh, yeah.
You feel like as long as we've been watching superhero shit and as kids playing that kind of shit, and then finally you're an adult and you can afford to go out buy something like that just to feel like a kid again. Oh, my kids loved it. We took pictures of us wearing them. Dude. They almost look AI. They look generated. Like we edited the claws in, and they're not. They're obviously real.
It's a pretty simple, elegant design. Like the flesh from your finger hides the design. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm telling you, I could put that through somebody's chest if I had.
Maybe we'll take a picture and post it for our dedicated listeners.
Straight up.
So, unfortunately, no real update on the Lake Erie alligator.
That is unfortunate. I was hoping for a death by now.
So we
not
don't
of the
know-
alligator. I thought the alligator would attack somebody.
Nah.
A child, a dog.
Hold on. I'm going to read this article. They talk about that in the article. Like they don't go out of most animals don't go out of their way just to kill a person.
Right.
It's usually just if their territory is being invaded and they feel threatened.
I'd wrestle an alligator that size. Give me
like
my
for
claws, bro.
free?
Give me my claws, bro, and let me have a go at them.
You're going to do it for fun.
Those claws are like ecstasy. They make you feel invincible.
Yeah, until that alligator gets your forearm.
Like you
in
see
its
that
jaws.
bear? Watch this.
There's under no circumstances would I fight a bear.
No, I don't think. Well, I mean, that at least helps your chances.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Sure, if you had a weapon of some sort, it increases your chances. But we're not talking about like being in the wild and you happen across one. We're almost talking game show style. This man will fight this bear. No, thank you. The bear is a type of an animal. One hit, you're dead.
Yeah. Now, would you take on a chimp with those claws on?
I wouldn't want to.
Obviously, you don't want to, but I feel like if you just stood your ground and the minute he jumped at you, put him up and hope his weight works against him. Because the minute he hits those...
You remember that story back like in 2007 or so? That woman who had a pet chimp and it ripped her face off.
Yeah, but she didn't have claws.
I understand, but I don't think we should undersell how powerful those animals are. They're pure muscle.
As Anthony Hopkins said in The Edge, you have to use the animal's weight against them. Young boys in Africa go up and slap the lion, and then they wait for him to rear up and come down, and they use your stick and just let the weight do the work for you.
Sure.
Boom. He does it in the movie. I mean, again, it's a movie.
Again, the cerebral cortex, we got to outsmart him.
Why is the rabbit not afraid? Because he's smarter than the panther.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I'm just saying, I'm not willingly fight. You said I'd fight this alligator like you just do it for free,
Oh,
like
I would.
Sunday afternoon fun.
Come on, kids, we're going to alligator fight. I put this quote when I sent that application in for that new job. I put, it almost sounded like something out of a Stephen King book. It's like, I said, this is a quote that I've been living by. Clean is clean, dirty is dirty. End quote.
They're like, so he doesn't pass the psychological screening. Move on. Interesting. So I'll just a brief update. This again from the Erie Times News, same source we used last time. This was published 5 days ago. Lake Erie alligator search enters week 3. What we know. Erie residents are chomping at the bit to find out what's going on with the Lake Erie alligator. According to Julie Slomsky from the Erie Western Pennsylvania Port Authority, the start of week 3 of the alligator search has arrived without any additional sightings and no traps have been set. That kind of seems like a mistake if you're trying to catch the damn thing.
Roy, why have you not set traps yet?
They're like, haven't gotten to it. Port Authority officials will continue to watch for any signs of the reptile. In the event evidence is found, Slomsky says they will inform the public. Employees at Presque Isle Angler on Lakefront Drive have not seen or heard anything new. Anyone with information on the alligator can call the Port Authority, I'll give the number, at 814-455-7557.
Feel free to call them and let them know you heard about their story on Vagrants and Vandals Radio.
100%. When the alligator was first spotted, the alligator, just as a refresher, first spotted August 4th by an Erie resident, Steina Roach. I think this bitch was just high. Said she saw the animal about 20 to 30 yards out on Lake Erie.
That's a long way.
It sure, yeah, it is a bit
and that's not a big alligator.
That's a bit of a way.
So it was a log she seen?
Possibly. Now, there is a picture, and, I wouldn't conclusively say that that's not a log. Take a look. I could see where you'd see alligator, 100%, but from that distance, that picture alone ain't.
Yeah, that's not enough for me to say that's for
not
sure
conclusive
an alligator.
Evidence. The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission contacted animal trapper Paul Kaiser from Best Wildlife Services, a wildlife removal business. Swimming was restricted on the second day of the search.
How ridiculous.
On August 6th, the Port Authority noted that the number of people in search of the alligator had increased. Of course, the idiots found out.
To quote Lake Placid yet again, I can't shut down this lake. You know how many miles of coastline I got? I got 14 deputies.
A search conducted that evening did not yield any sighting of the alligator. We ask that that visitors respect the signage throughout our footprint, Slomsky said, especially where swimming is prohibited. Our goal is to ensure the safety of our visitors. Swimming in this area remains restricted as of August 19th.
If someone was out there with giant alligator prints.
Well, I had mentioned you before we came on. I'm starting to wonder if this wasn't a hoax, but you said people.
Yeah, like I said, there was video posted again in the video, but it kind of looks like that though in the video. Like it's so hard to tell. Like it's shaky, the water's moving, it's moving. Like who knows what that is?
So of course there were tracks found on August 7th. Officials found suspected alligator footprints in the sand on August 7th, but the waves made it difficult for the experts to track them. Eyewitnesses also told the Erie Times News they had spotted the alligator between the East Avenue boat launch and the former Erie Coke plant at 925 East Bay Drive.
In unrelated news, Uncle John's having a crocodile smokeout 10 minutes east of the bay. So,
where did the alligator come from? There has not been confirmation as to how the suspected alligator ended up in Lake Erie.
It's pretty obvious how it got there, I think.
Since there have been no sightings since August 7th, the reptile could be anywhere, even in your toilet.
In your toilet.
They're not known for long-distance traveling, Mitchell said. They often stay in a relatively small area, but he can be as far as Harbor Creek to maybe the New York state line. That's about as far east it would go. The further west it would go, it becomes more crowded or popular or busier there. It might avoid that location since it wouldn't want to be around the people and boats. Harbor Creek Supervisor Tim May told the Times News that no alligator activity has been reported from Shades Beach. Mitchell said it's most likely a gator would remain near the shore and come up on land to bask in the sun. They usually like a little cover like high grass, Mitchell said, but anywhere on the shoreline is where it would be most comfortable. Fight or flight. Another concern for the alligator is the number of people searching for it. Mitchell said alligators do not like crowds and aim to avoid them. In the event the reptile enters a crowded space, they will choose flight over fight if given the choice. If given the opportunity, it will move away, Mitchell said. If it is cornered or has an opportunity to fight or is hungry, then it might fight. But if given the opportunity, it will go the other way. I mean, it's possible it's dead, but still being summertime and no natural predators.
Has been chilly,
lake.
But I don't think it's been that chilly. Because it's hot out there now.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe somebody didn't catch it and didn't boast and,
Ate that motherfucker, bro.
Well, yeah, but they'd still probably alert somebody.
Like, you see my new alligator boots? What you think about those?
Those are pretty swanky, Roger. So, yeah, okay, no. We'll follow up on the story again in a couple of weeks, see if we can find
I'm smelling ripe.
Yeah, I caught a whiff or two.
Good lordy. Lordy. Vacation.
Now we got about 10 minutes left.
That's what I say to that.
Want to fill you guys in on a little something we're going to have coming up. We did talk about this long ago, something we would wanted to do. But, well, Strimpy and Ted are super fans. They'll remember because they were a part of this federation, the Revolution Wrestling Federation, the RWF.
My brainchild.
Making a comeback. No, just kidding. We're far too old.
I was going to say, what? I didn't sign on for that.
God, could you imagine?
I'll take a speaking role. That's about it. You're not hitting me with shit, all right?
We'd be winded in minutes.
Yeah, it wouldn't take long.
I recently digitized the event that was held on September 12th, 2004. So we are coming up on the 20th anniversary of the epic battle between Serpent and Ice Pac, which we refer to as Serpent versus Ice Pac 2.
It was a big one.
We had ourselves a brawl at...
So we broke the ladder, right?
No, that was Serpent Ice Pac 1.
Was it?
Where we broke the ladder and earned the eternal ire of George.
I thought I power bombed you through that on...
You did.
But it was already fractured a bit.
So the ladder was merely fractured, and we continued to use it for some years after the fact to just rub it in George's no. R.I.P.
We'll be sure to go to his grave and play it.
So, all of that to say, BMO and I are going to sit down and provide commentary over that now 20-year-old match of what we remember from that day. Hard to believe it's 20 years past now.
I believe Julie was there that day.
I'm not sure if she was there that day. She may have been, but she was definitely there.
Maybe she dropped me off and then left.
Could have been.
Maybe she was heading back.
That was the day we did Twilight. A year later, we would do what would become the final event, which was Vortex of Sin, the infamous casket
coming
match.
Up with these goddamn names.
That was me, man.
Jesus Christ.
Vortex of Sin was where Commissioner Flint aligned himself with Serpent and Victor Severs to form the Lunatic Fringe.
Which I always thought you came up with, and I realized you just yanked it from the song. Lunatic Fringe.
Yeah, I can't remember how that all played out.
Lunatic Fringe.
I remember Brad was the one that turned me on to the song. I think he was the one that suggested, because it was his stable.
Right.
And I think that was his suggestion for the name. I liked it.
It's a good song.
Yeah, cool song.
What's the song that is the opening for that montage video?
That is Get Free by the Hives or the Vines. I always confuse the two bands.
I think it's
but
the
Get
Vines.
Free.
Yeah, I think it's the Vines.
Yeah, so that was going back to the fall of 2004. I was at Eastern.
Maybe it is the Hives.
We'd have to look it up. Hives or the Vines. We'll look it up right now. Why not?
Because I like Hate to Say I Told You So. I listened to like the live version they did at Howard Stern. They don't sound any different, dude.
Oh, they're still going?
Oh, yeah. The dude looks so much older. 20 years older. Maybe a little more than that.
So you think it's the Hives or the Vines?
I'm going to say the Hives just based on the... But I don't know. Maybe it's the Vines because the lead singer didn't sound like he had an accent in that.
Is that even what it's called?
I want to get free.
Because there's other songs coming up that definitely are... The Vines.
Okay.
Get Free by the Vines. Yeah, that was something I put together when I was a TA at Eastern. I had access to the editing lab. I worked on that for months.
You see Andrew in that? He's so young. A little kid.
Yeah, he was probably like 11 years old.
He's like,
something.
now one clip just does that. It always stands
out. The Commissioner Denthead.
And the one clip of me with the belt.
So yeah, we'll have some fun nostalgia, and I think going forward it'll be fun to digitize some of the older tapes and do just do some nostalgia commentary. We aren't going to be calling the match. We're going we're going to be just talking about our memories of it. And who was on commentary for that match?
I'm trying to think. Aaron, maybe?
No. Nope.
I don't know who.
It was Brad and Denhead. They were doing the commentary. Yeah.
I'm surprised Guy wasn't there. He usually was there for most of those.
He was done with it at that point.
Oh, hey, called it quits,
he called it a career.
Probably reading a book or something.
Well, if you remember, the interesting thing about that day, we won't get into too much here, but we'll save it for that video. And then that'll be released on the YouTube channel as a separate video.
Is that the day Richard broke his arm?
Nearly broke his arm, yeah.
Just hanging limp at his side.
If you remember how that all came about, we had our regular stories planned for that day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember... I think Execution versus Victor Severs was supposed to happen that day, as it did. But yeah, Richard damn near broke his arm. Screwed his arm. I don't know about to this day, but I know for years he would tell me when he bowled, it would hurt him from that injury.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
But during the match, we thought he broke his arm because there was the infamous quote from Brad. Brad and I were calling that first match. I believe I was commentating as Mr. X.
Yeah.
And Brad goes, Richard attempted a drop kick, his weight came down, looked like on his shoulder, and Brad totally breaks character and goes, his arm is broken. His arm is broken. And then Richard just continued with this noodle arm hanging at his side.
Yeah, I'll give that guy credit, man.
Yeah, he was tough as hell.
Like, you're going to break your arm and still fight through it?
The only reason you and I ended up having a match that day is because a bunch of people who were supposed to be there, Strimpy included.
Shocker.
Now, Strimpy will dispute this. We've had conversations over the years. The reason we went ahead with the match is because the rest of the card got blown up by people not showing up.
And we clearly were the best at what we did.
So me and Brandon were basically like, well... the show must go on.
Not a lot of technical wrestling going on, but a lot of beating the shit out of each other.
The match was never supposed to happen, but we had that Serpent versus Ice Pac the year prior in 2003, which was at Strimple's dad's house.
Nobody calls me Doughboy.
No, that was one of the famous
Motherfucker.
quotes. Nobody calls me Doughboy. Good times. So yeah, we'll call that. We'll have a lot of fun with that. We got a few minutes to kill here.
You having the younger gentleman in here for a...
I told them, I was like, if you guys have a topic, because they asked, like, can we do a special edition? I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, we don't know.
No, we don't
like,
know.
Wow.
We just
Give me something.
We want to sit here in idle silence.
We'll maybe do a special edition. Oh, but I'll throw this out. If you guys want to get a hold of us, interact with the show, you want to tell us about a weird dream you had, or maybe you went and supported our sponsor, Big Bruce's Burger Spot, and you want to talk about a juicy burger you chomped into, you can send us an email to vagrantsinvandals@gmail.com. That's vagrants, the letter N, vandals@gmail.com. We'll welcome and we will read all responses.
Straight up. I'll put it out to the fans that I'm going to be quitting smoking cigarettes here very shortly. By the next time you hear from us after this episode, I should be about a week off of them.
BMO was telling me before we started, he's transitioning to a cleaner,
yeah.
Lifestyle.
Come on now,
clean-ish.
And drop the beer drinking down a little bit. Try to keep it down to a 6-pack a day, and giving up cigarettes. And I want to get back into weight loss. I'm looking to doing DDP yoga and see if I can't better myself. I'd like to see 60. I don't want to be dead in 5 years, so we shall see.
I can't recommend DDP yoga highly enough. I've gone through the program 3 times myself, and every single time, not only did I drop weight, improve my flexibility, helped my mental health tremendously, improved my balance, strength. I mean, it is an incredible program. You would think a yoga program wouldn't be capable of dropping pounds like that.
Right.
But it's no joke. The first time I did it, I went from...
Now, is it like a course? You do it over...
Yeah. So the beginner program is 13-week. I think they're all broken into 13-week programs. Okay. The only difference is the frequency and intensity of the workouts.
Right.
But yeah, the first time I did it, I went from about 225 pounds down to 187
And you got
pounds.
motherfuckers who are like broken backs doing this shit.
Yeah, there's people who have had like serious debilitating injuries who thought like their mobile lives were just over. Guys like Butterbean have done this. A number of professional
I heard
wrestlers.
He could hardly walk when he started doing it.
Now he can run.
Yeah.
It's an amazing program.
That's this guy right here.
And so much of it is focusing on just the power of stretching each day and then being able to control your breathing. So much of the program is breathing through stress positions. And once you master your breath, you'd be amazed what you can end up doing. But I've meant to get back on the program myself. It's an amazing program. And I did it a second time.
How much does it cost?
I'm sure it's changed now. I first got it when I got it as a Father's Day present in 2016. And that was when they were still doing DVDs.
Say, hey, you fat fuck, happy Father's Day.
Well, I'd been talking about it for a while. A lot of it now, I think it's you can get like a subscription and like follow videos online and whatnot.
Okay.
So they're always doing new content. But
yeah, I'm gonna look into that because
an excellent program.
I definitely want to draw. Like I said, I told you I'm back up to 330. You know, that's not as bad as it was, but that's still bad enough. So I at least have to get back on track with that and try to use the winter to my advantage. So I'm looking fine for the summer.
Hashtag keep BMO alive.
Straight up.
It would suck if you croaked.
I can imagine.
Like,
I mean, not for me. I'm dead.
well, no, for your children, your
For
wife.
my kids, yeah, that's what I worry
For me,
about.
I'd be like, That'd be a big bummer, man.
That'd be a big bummer.
I mean, the BMO bummer.
Damn.
And remember, we
sorry.
fucker.
Yeah, you got to give me a look and let me know, because I'll say, if that happens, reach out to me. I'll try to seance me, bro, on the cast.
If you get out of the simulation.
If I can get through to you, I will.
Okay. And remember, be you vagrant or be you vandal, all rascals and rogues, welcome here.